Your alarm goes off. Before you even sit up, you're already behind. You grab your phone, scan notifications, and your brain instantly starts sprinting. Email, messages, deadlines, people, problems. You haven't even stood up yet, and you're already in a fight. You push through the day on pure gas. No pauses, no real breaks. Just switching tabs, switching tasks, switching moods. And then at night, you finally stop, but your body doesn't. You're exhausted, but wired. Tired, but scrolling. Burned out, but guilty. And the most confusing part is this. You're working harder than ever, and you're getting worse. If working harder worked, you'd feel better. So why do you feel like you're slowly breaking? Today we're gonna fix that. Not with motivation, with mechanics. Let's do a quick you versus you conversation. Operator U says, I just need more discipline. Builder U says, no, you need recovery as a skill. Because peak performance makes one brutal point. Stress is not the enemy. Unrecovered stress is. Your body, your brain, your creativity, they grow the same way muscles grow. You apply stress, you recover, you adapt. But most people are doing something different. They apply stress, then they apply more stress, then they call the breakdown lack of discipline. Here's the map for this video. In the next 2 minutes, you'll see why burnout isn't a personality flaw. It's a training error. Then we'll expose the modern trap that quietly kills your edge. Constant switching. Halfway through, I'll give you an anti-advice moment that will annoy hustle culture. And near the end, you'll get a simple 60-second reset you can use the exact moment you feel yourself spiraling. One subtle thing. If you like science-backed systems like this, subscribe, not for hype, but for tools you can use on your worst day. Now, quick choice. Pick your main performance arena: work, fitness, study, business, content, or leadership. Hold it in your head. We're building your system around that. Chapter 1. The Burnout Trap. Why more gas makes you slower. Let's kill a myth right now. Burnout is not just being tired. Burnout is when the demands keep rising and your recovery keeps shrinking until your brain starts protecting itself. Not by making you stronger, by making you numb. That's why you stop caring. That's why small tasks feel heavy. That's why your patience disappears. That's why you start fantasizing about quitting everything. And here's the trap. When you feel performance slipping, your instinct is to press harder. More hours, more coffee, more pressure, more "I'll rest later." That feels responsible. It's actually how you blow the engine. Because peak performance is not a straight line, it's a cycle. Stress, rest, growth. If you remove rest, stress doesn't turn into growth. It turns into damage. Quick test. When was the last time you finished a day and felt genuinely proud, not just relieved it was over? If it's been a while, you're not lazy, you're overloaded. Here's a 2-minute exercise you can do today that instantly reveals what's happening. Ask yourself, 1. What drained me the most today? Not what took time, what drained energy. 2. What gave me energy today, even a little? A walk, music, a deep task, a good conversation. 3. Where can I reduce tomorrow's load by 10%? Not 50, 10. Because the goal isn't to stop working. The goal is to stop turning stress into poison. Now, here's what elite performers do differently. They don't just work on purpose. They stress on purpose. And they rest on purpose. Chapter 2. Stress plus rest equals growth, not motivation. Think about training. If you lift weights hard every day with no recovery, you don't become stronger. You become injured. Work is the same. If you do deep thinking, decision-making, creating, leading, problem-solving, without recovery, you don't become more productive. You become brittle. So the real formula isn't hustle. It's stress plus rest equals growth. And the rest is not doing nothing. Rest is shifting your brain out of the same channel. If you work all day and then rest by doom scrolling, you didn't really recover. You just fed your brain more input. Real recovery is deliberate. Here's how to make it simple, without turning your life into a wellness cult. You need 3 levels of recovery. Level 1, a tiny daily reset. 10 minutes, no screen, no input, just downshift. Level 2, a weekly recovery block. At least 60 minutes. Walk, nature, slow movement, something that feels like space. Level 3, real sleep, protected like it's part of your job. Because it is. If you're thinking, I don't have time for this, here's the punchline. You don't have time not to. And now, the moment that most people miss. You don't need more time. You need fewer switches. Because constant switching burns your edge faster than long hours do. Chapter 3. The real enemy, constant switching. Let's run your average day. You open an email. 2 minutes later, Slack. Then a message. Then a quick task. Then a notification. Then a meeting. Then back to the task, but your brain is no longer there. So you start again. That restarting cost, that mental reloading cost, that's the hidden tax. And it's why you can work all day and still feel like you did nothing. Because deep work needs continuity. Switching destroys continuity. And this is the brutal paradox. You think multitasking makes you faster. It makes you tired. It turns your brain into an overheating browser with 47 tabs open, and you're shocked it crashes. So here's a single move you can do today that creates a massive performance shift. 1 focus block, 45 to 60 minutes. No notifications. Phone on airplane mode. Chat's closed. 1 task only. And here's the important part. When the block ends, don't immediately jump into more input. Do a short shutdown. Stand up. Breathe. Look out a window. Give your brain a clean transition. Because transitions are where recovery hides. Now, I'm going to say something that sounds like anti-productivity, but it's the truth. Pushing through is often the fastest way to lose your edge. Chapter 4, Anti-Advice. Hustle is not strength. Hustle culture worships one thing: more hours, more grind, more suffering, more proof. But in performance science, more is not a strategy. It's a mood. Here's the anti-advice. Discipline without recovery is just controlled self-destruction. Read that again in your head. Because a lot of people call it ambition, but it's actually fear. Fear of falling behind, fear of being average, fear that if you slow down, you'll lose everything. So you keep the gas pressed even when the dashboard is screaming. The best performers don't do that. They work in cycles. Hard days, easier days. Push, recover, adapt. And there's a sweet spot. The Goldilocks zone. Not so easy, you stagnate. Not so hard, you break. Here's a quick check you can do before a hard work session or workout. Rate today's intensity from 1 to 10. If you are at 9 or 10 every day, you're not tough. You're building burnout. Most days should be 6 to 8. Some days can be 9. Some days should be 4 to 5 on purpose. That's how growth actually happens. No, at this point, you might be thinking, okay, so it's stress plus rest, focus blocks, cycle intensity. Got it. We could wrap it up right here, but we're missing the piece that decides whether you'll actually do it when you don't feel like it. Rituals. Chapter 5, Rituals Beat Motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Rituals are reliable. Peak performers don't wait to feel ready. They create a start sequence that makes starting automatic. Think of it like a runway. If you build the runway, the plane takes off even on days when the weather sucks. So here's a simple 2-minute start ritual. Pick one consistent cue. Same place. At the same time. Same music, or the same silence. Same first tiny action. Then set a timer for 10 minutes. That's it. If you're a writer, your first action is opening the document and writing 1 sentence. If you're studying, it's opening the book and highlighting 1 paragraph. If you're training, it's putting on the shoes and doing a warm-up. The ritual is the bridge between I should and I'm doing. And this matters because burnout doesn't just come from too much work. It comes from decision fatigue. When you have to convince yourself daily, you will lose to your own brain. So rituals remove negotiation. Now I'm going to summarize the whole system in one formula. And it will sound simple. So simple that your brain will try to dismiss it. Then I'll give you the 60-second reset for the exact moment you're about to collapse into chaos. So here it is. Stress plus rest equals growth. Fewer switches, more focus, work in cycles. Use rituals to start. Do that consistently, and you'll get your edge back. Done. Except if it were that easy, you'd already feel fine. Because the real battle is not what you do when you're calm. It's what you do when you're fried. When you're overloaded, anxious, and your brain wants to escape. That's the moment that decides everything. So here's the tool for that moment. Chapter 6. The 60 Seconds Reset. How to Save the Day. When you feel yourself spiraling, use this. One breath. Not as a meditation, as an interrupt. Then, name your state like you're diagnosing a machine. I'm overloaded. I'm anxious. I'm fried. I'm scattered. Naming it creates distance. It stops the emotion from becoming your identity. Then, ask one question. What is the next smallest action? Not the whole project. Not the whole day. The next smallest action. Now choose. Option A. If you can act, do one tiny action within 2 minutes. Send the one email. Write a one sentence. Open the doc. Make the outline. Do the warm-up. Option B. If you can't act, schedule a 10-minute recovery reset immediately. Walk, stretch, sit in silence. No input. Then return to one task only. 1. Because spirals get worse when you try to solve everything at once. This is how you turn stress back into growth, rather than damage. And once you do this a few times, something changes. You stop fearing stress. You start using it. Let's lock it in. Burnout happens when you keep pressing the gas and ignore the brake. Peak performance happens when you stress on purpose and recover on purpose. Fewer switches, more focus. Cycles, not a constant maximum. Rituals, not motivation. And when you feel yourself breaking, the 60-second reset. Here's the line worth replaying. Peak performance isn't pushing harder. It's recovering better on purpose. Now make it real. Comment on your biggest burnout trigger in one phrase. Notifications, meetings, perfectionism, people-pleasing, late-night scrolling. Then pick one move from this video and commit to it for 7 days. 1. A focus block, a daily reset, a ritual, a cycle day. The 60-second reset. Come back and tell us what changed. And if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe. Your future self will thank you. Because your edge is not lost. It's buried under fatigue. And fatigue is fixable.